This is what a Le Mans champion looks like. A thoroughbred racer with flowing lines designed to conquer the Mulsanne Straight and a pedigree born from one of the most romantic eras of motorsport. We're building a Le Mans tribute car too, and it doesn't look like that just yet. Right now, it's this. A rusted-out, forgotten Mazda Miata. But with the help of some of the best in the business, we're going to take this humble roadster and turn it into this. We're going to reveal every secret behind one of the most incredible automotive transformations possible, turning a car destined for the scrapyard into a jaw-dropping 1950s-style racer. Before we get started, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you won't miss any of our deep dives into forgotten legends and modern marvels of the automotive world. Every great project starts with a problem. Ours is this first-generation Mazda MX-5. It's seen better days. A lot of better days. The sills are crusty, the arches are bubbling, and it's a perfect example of why these brilliant little cars are slowly disappearing. Most people would see a parts car. We see potential. The dream has always been to own a classic 1950s sports racer. Something like an Aston Martin DBR1, the legendary car that Carroll Shelby and Roy Salvadori drove to victory at Le Mans in 1959. For Aston Martin in 1959, everything clicked. Shelby and Salvadori brought it home at Le Mans. Aston won the World Sports Car Championship. It was a crowning achievement for Aston Martin. Only 5 DBR1s were built and one fetched over $22.5 million. But what if you could have the spirit and the head-turning style of a 50s legend with the rock-solid, reliable heart of a Japanese sports car? That's the vision. We're not just restoring a Miata, we are giving it a completely new identity. To do that, we're going to need a whole new body and soul, which comes in the form of a kit from a company called Quantum Sports Cars. This isn't just a body kit, it's a complete re-engineering of the car from the ground up. The first step in any transformation is to break everything down. And with an old Miata, you're always going to find one thing: rust. It's the universal enemy. But here's where this project gets interesting. While the cosmetic rust on the body panels looks awful, it doesn't actually matter. Why? Because we're throwing the entire body away. The LMR 141 is not typical of what most people associate with a kit car. In a classic kit car, the mechanical components, engine, transmission, differential, steering, and all of the suspension components are removed from the donor car, bagged, labelled, and set aside for assembly to a space frame for the new car. The LMR 141 uses an entirely different technique. The engine, transmission, differential, steering, and all suspension components are saved as one unit, preserved as a skateboard, if you'd like, harvested from the MX-5. The LMR 141 kit includes a super strong space frame, which bolts to the skateboard and serves as the attachment points for a modern fiberglass interpretation of a 50s Le Mans racer. Our real focus is on the Miata's soul, the mechanical components we're going to harvest. Of course, you need a donor that isn't completely rotten where it counts. The entire drivetrain, the famously tough 1.6-litre engine, the 5-speed gearbox, the differential, and the drive shafts. Then the suspension, the brakes, the steering rack, the wiring loom, even the instrument cluster. Everything that makes an MX-5 a joy to drive is retained in one go. It's the magic of the MX-5 skateboard. This is exactly why the MX-5 is the perfect donor. It's a reliable, lightweight, rear-wheel drive platform with a massive aftermarket and parts supply. You are essentially liberating its fantastic engineering from a body that wants to dissolve around it. The teardown isn't about destruction, it's about salvation. We're saving the best parts of the Miata to give them a second, much more exotic life. To truly understand how this is possible, we went to speak with the man behind the machine, Rob Hancock of Quantum Sports Cars.
We're now on the Quantum Sports Cars stand, and we're with Rob Hancock, the owner of the company, who I found is one of the most difficult people to nail down. So I'm really pleased we've got hold of him now. So thank you for this short window of opportunity.
Glad you found a space.
Well, the one car that seems to be getting a lot of interest in your stand is what we used to call the replica, but what should we call it now?
It's now the LMR 141.
Okay. And what has changed from it being the replica to now into the LMR 141?
Mainly, I hated the name.
Okay.
Along with a lot of the previous customers that weren't over keen. So the relevance of LMR, Le Mans Racer, 141, one kit for one donor, or rather one donor for one kit. Also, the Mazda track happens to be 141 centimetres, so it ties in for those.
That was really convenient.
And you thank John Ham for that, because that was his name.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Well, we added the R, he came up with Le Mans 141, and we added the Racer.
And what have you done to the kit? Because you took this on about a year, 18 months ago?
No, 6 months.
Oh, it's quite recent.
Yeah, January.
Okay. So what have you done in the 6 months?
Well, this car is Andy's old demonstrator, so this is the old car. Up here we've got photographs of the new plug, which we're halfway through moulding. Lots of chassis tweaks, replacing bits of cut steel with laser cuts. Lots of tubes with laser cuts with swage holes, so it looks a bit more evocative of 50s racers. So you see a lot more of that. Open the boot, there's a nice laser cut there with just the little things that the original cars had. We've shaved 6 inches out of the width. And
6 inches?
6 inches out of the width. And out of the body, the chassis remains the same. And 15 inches out of the length. So you can't land your aircraft on it anymore. It's,
and where have you taken that 15 inches from?
Overhangs. Obviously, wheelbase stays the same because it uses the Mazda PPF. So we've taken about 8 inches out of there and 7 or so out of the front. We've moved the grille up, headlights back, and then closed in the gap between the lights, which the original car would have had.
So where you shrunk it on the width as well, are you using different offset wheels?
No, because these wheels have got spacers.
Oh, right.
So Mini 1 wheels, which is what we've got on the plug up there, are a perfect fit in 15s and 16 inch. So we've taken the arches up, brought the arch up here and swooped it a lot more, got rid of the lines.
And because they look really...
Period.
Yeah, I was going thanks for the word. I was scrabbling around.
Mini 1.
Yeah.
100 quid a set with tyres. So £10,000 and you're on the road.
That is...
genuine.
Yeah.
You'd have your MX-5 seats and MX-5 clocks and MX-5 steering wheel, but you can be on the road for £10,000. And
of course, the other thing, compared to, say, building something like a 7, with all the enclosed bodywork, it makes your IVA so much easier, doesn't it?
This car passed first time, as Andy keeps reminding me every time, because we failed 3 times on a noisy Quantum.
Okay, so this is the original ANC chassis. And then move on to the new Quantum LMR chassis. You see the extra turret strength, fully braced tunnel, altered steering attachment, bigger bars through the dash, extra turrets, and another one. This is another customer car, automatic, modified gears and modified handbrake, extended steering, nice set of wires on this one as well, period tyres, full radiator surround, and then onto the LMR, gel coat finish. flip front. Nice and easy to work on. Very decent boot space.
The transformation, a new skeleton. This is the point of no return. The old rusty MX-5 shell is gone for good. In its place is this, the brand new space frame chassis from Quantum. This isn't just a frame, it's a piece of engineering. It's lighter and stiffer than the original car, providing the perfect skeleton for our racer. Next comes stripping, cleaning and refurbishing of components. After you are satisfied that everything is ready to go, then begins the most satisfying part of the build, reassembly. It's like building the world's greatest full-scale model kit. What we're doing here is not just a chassis swap, we are building a fundamentally new car. The MX-5 gave its heart, but this new chassis gives the project its strength and its perfect, classic proportions. This is where the car truly starts to take shape, not as an MX-5, but as something else entirely. The climax, skin and soul. With the mechanicals in place, it's time for the soul of the car, the body. The LMR 141's body is a single sweeping piece of GRP fiberglass. Seeing it for the first time, you finally grasp the scale of the transformation. Those long flowing curves and muscular haunches are pure 1950s Le Mans.
Looking around for what to build. No disrespect to you, John. Your cars are fantastic, but I just wanted something a little different, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, different to a seven. I mean, sevens are the most prolific out there, followed by Cobras.
Yeah,
and
I nearly did a Cobra, but in my stage of life, finding 80 grand out of the back of the sofa to do what is basically an arms race, you know, because you turn up at some of these clubs, don't you, and these events, and everyone's trying to outdo each other with the best Cobra.
Well,
and
exactly.
You got to have a lot of cash now. Okay.
Add for the petrol as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know some of them do like 8 or 12 to the gallon. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But,
and then
great,
I was
doing it.
That's right. I was quite taken by Ansted's Tipo, his 184 thing.
Yes, that does look nice. And that's again, that's MX-5 based.
It is MX-5, and that was 3 years ago. And I decided the MX-5 route in a fit of pique. I went out and bought a donor, and I went to Silverstone, and I met them there. I met Darren there, and you know, I was about to put it on the dotted line. I came back and I said to the wife, I think I'm going to build one of these. She went, how many seats has it got? I said, 3. And she said, I'm not going to get in that. You don't have to. No. If you're building something, I need to be in it.
So that was the end of that one. Yeah.
So that was the end of that idea. And then I thought, oh Christ, right, all right, what's out there? And then, you know, we saw the replica thing. I thought, oh, that's pretty cool.
You like the classic, you like the classic looks, yeah.
And that, so it's not quite, you know, Cobra, but it's something else. And it's really got something, the whole idea of it, you know, what that era, that 1950s era. And I do like to go to the festivals, Silverstone and some of the other heritage, Donington and stuff. And I love those sort of cars, you know. So, and as I was looking at it, it sort of passed hands, didn't it, between the replica chap, Andy, and Rob.
It's now with Rob.
Rob, who's taken on Quantum. And and it's going from strength to strength, really.
We were discussing just briefly earlier because Rob's made a couple of changes. He shortened it a little bit at the front end overhang and rear end overhang, and just nipped the waist in a little bit, which I think I mean, the old one looks great. Don't get me wrong, but it looks way more in proportion now, I think.
Yeah, well, that's on the surface, but under the skin, it's massively better. The chassis is solid. I mean, I've had mine just over a year and a half, or a year last Christmas, and it's so much stronger and more rigid than the replica. You know, for example, it's got the tunnel, which is the front to rear bracing. You know, apparently with the old one, you could put your foot on the sill and the chassis would kind of do that.
Just flex a little bit.
And he's relocated the rear bulkhead, so you've got more leg room. So it'll take a pretty big guy, 6'4", 6'5", easy. But he's made it much stiffer. And you know what's really impressed me, I mean, mine's chassis number 4, and you know, I got in with it. There's another chap called Steve Dell up in Oswald Street. I went to see him actually, and it's great. And the thing about the chassis is, as Rob will tell you, he's got it made in a way that the guy who welds it knows what he's doing.
Right.
So when it comes out the jig, because of the way he's welded it in opposite corners and stuff like that, it just pops out the jig. And it is true, because I've been measuring it for bits, you know, like there's a couple of side panels I wanted to get made and it is spot on, you know, and I sit there and look at it, I think, it is good. And then when I built the power plant frame, those are no MX-5s, you lift the body off the thing,
and you're left with the roller skate underneath,
and it's all joined together. I mean, I started and I complete nut and bolted the thing. Right, so Rob will tell you I'm completely anally retentive about this thing. I've gone down to every last nut and bolt. There's no rusty bits anywhere. It's been completely stripped, powder coated, silver chassis, and it's all gone back together beautifully. And then I've put his chassis on top of mine. I think it's about 14 nuts and bolts, and it just sat straight on, bolted up beautifully. So it is nicely done. And considering it's the first few, and I suppose on top of that, it's what Rob does for you. You know, he's a lovely guy. I don't know if you're listening, Rob. You know, I'm bigging him up. I always big you up.
Yeah, but we've done a couple of live streams with him. Really nice guy, really good sense of humour. Great guy.
He's a proper trooper. But I mean, he and I, you know, I'm sure when he sees my messages come through, Rob, I've got another idea, and about this and about that, you know, and I'm sort of almost working his prototype with him, but I've got ideas what to do, and he said, "Yep, we can do all of that." You know, brilliant. side exhaust, we'll do that. You know,
that's a good idea. I've not thought of that one. Yeah.
Well, the cars in the day had side exhausts, right? You know.
Yeah.
And so it's going to look better, much better. So my theme is Maserati.
Right.
The late 50s Maserati, 200 SI, 250 SI, beautiful cars, but they all look like Astons, they look like C-type Jags, they look like Ferraris, doesn't matter, but I just like the Maserati, and I've got all sorts of books about them, and Moss used to drive them, and they were in the Milli Miglia and that type of thing. All those cars in that period were. And the final look is going to be ruby red.
I was going to say you're going to go the red route,
yeah, but not Rosso Scarlet. It's ruby, much more classic style, which a lot of the Italian cars had, even Alphas with that colour.
Yeah,
but you know, the cars of that period, I know I'm not doing a replica, as near as I can make it to look alike. It's a homage, really.
Yes.
And you know, it's going to be stripped out race car look interior. Easier to do, cheaper to do, and if later on I want to carpet the thing and make it look cushy, I don't know, but it's going to look like that, and who will know when it's driving down the road? I mean, you know, Broadway, John. You know, you can go and pose around Broadway, and people do, but they won't look at you very often if you're driving a Ferrari because they hate you. You know.
Yeah, exactly. A classic car. Everyone will stop and look and take a picture.
And, so and I'm not being vain about it, but it's a nice conversation piece that you probably have with yours. So, I mean, what makes you want to do it? I've always wanted to build a kit car. I love these cars of this period. Rob's thing is the answer for me. I can build it for about less than 30 grand, and I'm not skimping, honestly.
Yeah.
It's going to have throttle bodies on. It's going to have a lovely side exhaust coming out, lots of nice noise, and I think it'll look stunning.
From a rusted out Miata, we've built a 1950s style racer. Every curve, every detail from the low-cut fly screen to the wide arches has been carefully crafted. It's a car that stops people in their tracks, a car that makes you dream. It's a rolling piece of art, built, not bought. This is the ultimate proof that with a clear vision and the right expertise, you can build the car of your dreams right in your own garage. This project was born from an ambitious idea. Could we build a show-stopping racer from a car most people would throw away? Well, the answer is a definite, deafening yes. It's a testament to the incredible vision of quantum sports cars and the enduring brilliance of the original Mazda MX-5. This journey proves that you don't need a millionaire's budget to own a car that looks like $1 million. You just need a donor car, a vision, and a whole lot of passion. If you enjoyed this build, hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed, because for the next project, we're going to explore a different path to Le Mans glory. You won't want to miss it.